Today we're in the Isle of Man. This is CrossAgs, part of the pilot environmental markets project that we initiated last year with the Manx Wildlife Trust. The Isle of Man is part of the UNESCO, United Nations biospheres. They're designated for areas of outstanding natural significance.
So Manx Wildlife Trust is the island's leading conservation charity. We're here to restore and protect nature. What we are in this scenario is a project developer. The island had a real genuine need for high integrity carbon credit projects. So we felt we had the experience and knowledge in terms of what trees to plant, how to get the biodiversity right up there and get good levels of carbon. What we don't have is the experience and knowledge around finance, and that's where we needed to work with partners like Lloyds Bank.
We've had a long-standing relationship with Manx Wildlife Trust, and as our client, there was an opportunity to collaborate with a voluntary carbon market pilot. It was a unique opportunity to really bring the finance sector and the trust together to collaborate on a project which is really meaningful from a nature perspective, but also provides a different kind of funding model for the trust.
This particular field that we stood in is a high integrity carbon credit scheme. So the trees that you can see in the tubes behind me are grown for the purpose of sequestering carbon. Lloyds Bank were very kind in giving us a preferential loan, a green loan, to allow us to buy the fields, and we're paying that loan off through the sale of high integrity carbon credits. The great thing I love about these projects is they're really long-term projects. We're able to work with people to create contracts that are over 50, 75, even 100 years. I won't be around when this project really comes to fruition in terms of biodiversity, but the carbon will be building up in those trees over the next 50 years. We're looking over that period to sequester around 3,000 tonnes of carbon. That's the equivalent of about 375 homes energy uses over a year. And we've worked with a number of local companies who are the buyers. So we're working with Kim from Resilience Asset Management, also PDMS, Hansard and Lloyds themselves. So it's a really nice collaboration between a number of island businesses and Manx Wildlife Trust.
So Resilience Asset Management is a sustainable investment firm. We're really committed to promoting sustainable investments, but also just doing good as well, not just with our investments, but what we do as a business. We were looking for something with integrity. It had to be local. We wanted to give back to the community. We've got it on our doorstep. We could utilise what we've got. And working with companies like Lloyds with a good reputation, Manx Wildlife Trust know their stuff. It brought that integrity and authenticity to it that we needed.
We are working with the Soil Association to verify the carbon that we're doing here, and that's important. People will not rely just on Manx Wildlife Trust to verify or mark our own homework. The traditional model for conservation is to fence fields off and say that's just for nature, keep the wildlife in, keep people out. That doesn't work. We need people and nature to work together. That would also rely very heavily on sponsorship and altruism from businesses. And again, that's not a sustainable model. For me, the solution is in tying the value of nature into the way our economy works. Environmental markets, that is the future, because that gives all this a value. That gives us a sustainable source of income that means we can carry on doing more and more of these projects and making a real difference, not just in terms of sequestering carbon, but in terms of improving things for biodiversity, which in turn will also create those nature-based solutions which will make things better for people as well.
It's really important that sites like this are permanent. The curation of the site by Manx Wildlife Trust is really important to make sure that that happens.
What we do now is not just for our benefit, it's got to be for future generations, and making sure there is a future for people to be invested in. It's a legacy we can leave behind that our children, our grandchildren can come and go, they had a part in this. It's a huge story to tell.
Employees from Resilience have been here to plant trees. They get to see those trees grow, the benefit of this site, the well-being that provides to their employees, and indeed, more broadly to the local community.
For me, this is exactly what conservation is all about. Coming from a commercial background, moving into conservation, I understand that money is the way the world works, and unless we can get a sustainable route for that money to come into conservation, things aren't going to succeed.
From our experience, there's been a lot of media hype about, whether sustainability is here to stay. We're seeing a demand increasing, and people are genuinely wanting to meet those targets because they realise that it leads to good governance leads to good companies, and that is, makes money for people at the end of the day.
The Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change has made it very clear that we will not reach net zero through carbon reduction on its own and that we need negative emissions. And this is where the voluntary carbon markets play a key role, because nature-based solutions remove carbon from the atmosphere, helping make that possible. This kind of project is essential if we want to flourish in the future and ultimately to help Britain prosper.